So here we are with my good buddy, Dr. David Hepburn, at the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club with the staff here, chatting about all these different things, cannabis. And so tonight's next question is one of the more fun ones, and it's about pets. Because you mentioned earlier about how we have endocannabinoid systems,
Sure.
but we're not the only ones out there.
No.
So let's start with dogs.
Okay, well, I'm glad you didn't start with fish because they're not very cuddly and they don't really have a great ECS. But dogs, of course, are. I mean, let me ask, how many people are dog people in this room? Love dogs first and foremost. How about cats?
Yep.
Yeah. See, I knew this was a dog crowd when I came in here. You could tell by all the saliva on the windshields outside. But you're right.
Merlin saw that.
Merlin saw it, yeah. So Merlin's particularly interested in this question, and the answer is that the research being done is not able yet to quite support. There's been 3 good studies in the States done on the use of cannabis in pets. Now, when we say cannabis in pets, we never say THC because no one wants to see a stone Shih Tzu walking around. So it's always CBD, CBD, CBD. And the question here is about the dosage, and rule of thumb is about 0.2 milligrams per pound, so that if it's a 25-pound cat that ate very well, obviously you would give it 5 milligrams of CBD. So that's the sort of rule of thumb. But of course, like everything, you start low, go slow, and realize that if that pet is cannabis naive, which most of them I assume are, that it may be a stronger effect at a smaller dose. But you start small and you give it, and the reasons that cannabis is used for pets, research is for anxiety, for seizures, and for pain, particularly arthritic pain. Now the studies, and there have been 3 good studies in the States, but that having been said, right now, veterinarians in both Canada and the United States are not even allowed to talk to their clients about using cannabis in their pet. They can't even talk about it. California is about to change that law.
Even if they ask a question?
They can't bring it up. If the client asks a question, they can answer very quickly, but they can't recommend it or suggest it, even that. So that's how far behind that has trailed. And the veterinarians I know are, in fact, many of them are extremely upset about the fact that that's been limited, and they want to be able to bring it up and to use it because, I mean, one study I know of out of Cornell, the anecdotes of how it changed the lives of these animals, changed their lives. When it came to, it was a pain study, and animals that were about to be euthanized, in fact, continued and were, in fact, like puppies. So so the studies are quite interesting and remarkable. More to be done. The veterinary care, which is veterinary care and of course pet food, pet supplements and things, is an area that is of great interest to major companies, of course, who know that anecdotally everybody has used it for their pet, for their dog, for their cat, and they've seen remarkable differences. I met with a lawyer who had a dog in the office, and this was just this week, and she said to me, yeah, I give it CBD, and you can tell how anxious he is. And it was just lying there. It was a poodle just lying there, just, that sort of thing. So, yeah, but people, if you want to know a dose, again, this is the 0.2 on average of per pound.
Because, we started with dogs and cats here, but, it's fascinating that you mentioned, even fish.
Yeah.
have an endocannabinoid system, and so pretty much every pet would probably benefit from it. And this barely even scratches on the topical use as well. A lot of times pets have skin problems and such, and the antibiotic and other benefits of cannabis topically would be good for a lot of animals. We've certainly seen that in our case here. I'm sure the research hasn't caught up.
Sure.
But
I like to use the cannabis gels on my goldfish because they have fish skin. Very fishy, very sort of, it's not very pleasant skin. But no, you have to, the research being done right now are being done on, believe it or not, dogs, horses, and piglets are the 3 areas where the most research is being done. Because piglets have tremendous anxiety, apparently.
okay.
So those are the areas of great interest right now. It's not just, sorry, the cats didn't even fit into that category, but it is dogs, horses and piglets are getting most of the research done right now.
And the research, and this goes across the spectrum, is probably being done on the specific cannabinoids rather than the whole plant medicine. Would that be correct?
Probably is being done with the CBD only, so that's all they can do. They've not specifically, you're right, the specific cannabinoid CBD, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the
Not the
THC,
full spectrum.
Not the full spectrum.
Okay, so a question here.
I do have a question. What about rats? Do rats have an endocannabinoid system? And then the reason I ask is because I've had reptiles like snakes. So if I gave like a rat an edible so that the rat would be all chill while it got eaten, would I then get my snake high as it digested the stoned rat?
Okay, so the question is kind of twofold. It's do rats also have an endocannabinoid system that would get them high if they were to eat it? And if they were high on cannabis and then were eaten by a snake, would then the snake get high?
Yeah, okay, well, somebody tell me if she creeps up behind me here, because I'm not sure I trust this girl. But those questions, but no, the answer is interesting, is that yes, rats do have an ECS. In fact, one study was done on fear, and they took a rat, a mouse actually, and they put it in a rather small box with a viper called the Bothrops viper. And normally when a mouse sees something like that, it freezes. It freezes and it just, or sometimes actually walks to the predator. Not a smart move if you're a mouse that's about to get eaten by a Bothrops. So they actually dosed the mouse with cannabis, and the mouse got in there, didn't freeze, in fact determined a path to escape and got it. So those studies have been done. So yes, the answer is that the mice do have it, but if you give it to them, the snake might go hungry, because that mouse will figure it out.
I have a question. One of our members uses CBD oil as a massage for their horse's legs, right? Could you speak to some of the uses for horses in CBD?
Okay, so yeah, we know of people that use cannabis with horses. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So again, those same three areas of arthritis, which is the cause of the pain. So yes, if you could apply it in any form, then to the horse's joints. If also anxiety, horses use, they need blinders often to not be so stressed by things. And of course my seizures. Those are the three main areas where it is being used in animals. So you're right. What would apply to a dog would also apply to a horse, an alpaca, a striated giraffe.
Is it fair to say mammals across the board?
Right across your board, any board, absolutely. Mammals, even reptiles.
Marsupials?
Marsupials, yes.
Birds?
We're at 2
Birds
minutes.
do too, yes.
We're at 2 minutes.
And you speak, okay.
What about fish?
We got 2 more minutes?
Fish do.
Okay, so ostriches, doves, eagles. Gotta fill in 2 minutes here, Fred. Good.
Ted can help.
Bugs?
No, why?
I think every living thing, yes.
I didn't know fish had endocannabinoid systems.
Well, the last salmon I saw.
It goes back to sea squids, so yeah. It's a 500 million year old chemical family that is spread far and wide amongst plants as well as
Sure.
animals.
Most living things. So, yeah, it's remarkable.